The checks carried out by the guarantor lenders include credit checks, affordability checks, and more. So why do the lenders carry out checks? Well, it's very important because they need to follow the idea of treating customers fairly. This is something which is encouraged by the regulators. What this means is doing the right thing for the customer and finding the best possible product for them, whether this is giving them a loan just at the right amount that they can afford to repay, or whether it means not giving them a loan at all. The problem is that if the lenders do not carry out the right checks, then it means a customer may be allowed to borrow too much money, and this means that they won't be able to afford repayment, and this could lead to financial difficulty. So just to discuss some of the checks we're talking about here, there are the credit checks. Now, the lenders we feature use credit reference agencies such as Experian, Equifax, and Call Credit to run a credit check on you, the borrower, and the guarantor. So what this allows you to do is it allows them to get an idea of how well you and your guarantor have paid loans and other credit cards in the past. Now, what's most important is that if you're a guarantor, they're able to see using these credit checks whether that guarantor has a very good credit rating. If the guarantor has a good credit rating, then it is more likely that the borrower will actually get a loan. The idea is that the lender can say, well, here's a person who wants a loan. They may not have good credit, but their guarantor has very good credit, and they're willing to enter into agreement with the borrower. So therefore, if that guarantor trusts the borrower, well, we as the lender, we can also trust the borrower too. So that check is very important indeed. Another check which is very common is an affordability check. Now, this is all about matching how much the customer wishes to borrow and how much they can afford to repay. So this is kind of what I mentioned earlier. It's about making sure that the customer doesn't borrow too much and gets just the right amount that they can afford. So the ways to do this are by asking in the application page, how much you earn, how often you get paid, what are your monthly costs like rent or credit cards and so forth. And further, you find that some guarantor lenders, they actually ask for bank statements and payslips too. Usually there is a quick phone call involved by the lender to the borrower and the guarantor. There is obviously a big kind of transaction here at stake for a few £1,000s, and of course the guarantor is responsible if the borrower does not repay on time. So it's very important that a phone call just confirms this to both parties and they both understand the seriousness of the loan. But above all, having a quick phone call with both the borrower and the guarantor means that they can speak to the person, they are a real person, and they are contactable if there are any problems with the loan. So it is important that they do get in touch. Another thing that they look at is your history or trust rating. So if you apply for a loan with a lender, you get funded the loan and you repay them back on time, it will actually improve your history or your trust rating with that lender. Now, this will mean that it could be easier to get future loans with them, and you may actually be able to get a better interest rate, or you may be able to get a higher loan. So it's important that you repay your loans on time, because then the lender will trust you more. Now, if you don't pay your loan on time, then you may actually spend a lot of time repaying it and clearing your debt. The lender will say, okay, well, this person doesn't have a good trust rating, the history with us isn't great, it probably isn't worth us giving them another loan. There are a number of other checks which the lenders will carry out, but obviously these are confidential to those lenders. But this certainly gives you an idea of why you have to go through all those checks and how important it is, and you'll be very aware of these when you apply.